Okay, so we're outside of St. Louis, Missouri today to visit with Mid-USA.
We are in Hazelwood.
Hazelwood.
You're from here. How do you say it? Missouri. 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 Okay, that's how I'll say it. Missouri. Missouri. Missouri.
Let's go. Are these artifacts? Actual catalogs. I'm taking one of those. That's where it's at, buddy.
My name is Sean McKe. We're here at Mid-USA Motorcycle Parts in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a wholesale distributor, aftermarket, Harley-Davidson, everything cool, go fast, look good. This is where you come. So I've been here 35 years. Company started in 84. I started in 91. And just love the industry. Aftermarket's where it's at in Harley, with Harley. So it's been a great fit for me personally for all those years. I would say, really, in my opinion, our bread and butter is stable, as it should be anything. We sell an assload of brake pads, oil. You wouldn't believe the amount of oil we sell, Lucas Oil. A great product, sell the bejesus out of it. We actually offer it in the 6-gallon. So this is kind of where we dink around. Ed does most of that. We just got in trannies, he's going to throw one in the frame just to make sure shit is right, But, you're so friggin' limited nowadays on frame manufacturers.
Absolutely.
In the 90s, what'd we have? 18?
Something like that.
What do we got? Paco? And we offer frames? There ain't a whole hell of a lot out there anymore.
Wow. Here's the old stuff. So everything that comes in the door, they talk. Because a lot of the import stuff, they just send it to us. They don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
So we're able to reference all the way back to whatever that early book is.
Maybe even extend that.
Yeah, so that's how Richmond Equipment is based out of these books.
My name's John Stedko. I'm the owner of this company. Been working at this industry since 1971. Started at a chopper shop down in St. Louis City called E&M Motorcycles, and we built choppers. Back then, Harleys, Hondas, whatever you wanted, we would chop it. We were one of the only chopper shops in St. Louis, and I worked at Midwest Motorcycles for a lot of years, 38 to be exact. E&M morphed into Midwest Motorcycles, right? And, I just started out there as a stock boy, unloading trucks and stuff like that, working at the retail counter. E&M was a retail store. And it happened that since we were the only chopper shop in the entire area, people would come in from distances, 100, 150 miles, 200 miles, because we had extended fork tubes. We had all that kind of stuff, and we bought a lot of that stuff out of California from a company called AEE, which was a old chopper parts place that it was notorious for having a catalog with a bunch of girls in bathing suits, right? So you got the AEE catalog. The first thing you did was look at the girls, and then you looked at motorcycle parts, right? People started coming in from far away and saying, well, if we buy 2 or 3 of these, can we get a discount on it? So, the light bulb went off with the owner at that time. And he said, why don't we, do this as a wholesale distributing business? They did, called it Midwest, created a catalog, which I don't know. I think I still got one of the original catalogs. I kind of held on to stuff. Yeah, this is not the original, but this is 1975. And we, it was all hand done. I did a little bit of this stuff too, right? Line drawings. And then you would put it on a page and then glue it on to the page and then mimeograph it, right? And then we would take these catalogs, correlate it, and then put that glue on there like this. We would take 80 cubic inch cylinders and stack it on top of the catalogs and wait for it to dry and then take a butter knife and cut the catalogs out, right? Real old stuff, but that's what we did. But anyway, that's how Midwest started, and I worked there for a long time, 38 years, like I said, and it changed ownerships once or twice, actually once. And at some particular point, I decided I wanted to do this on my own. The owner of Mid USA actually worked at Midwest alongside me. And then he separated from Midwest prior to me and started Mid USA. And we were competitors, even though we knew each other. And then Midwest changed hands. And long story short, as time progressed, this company, Bob, the guy that owned, his name was Bob Banefeld, he got ill, and his wife died, and him and his daughter and his son-in-law were going to run it, but then the son-in-law got ill, passed away, unfortunately, and then Sandy, she ran it for a while, and then I knew her, and I said, hey, you want to sell the place? And she said no at first, and then several months later, she came back and said, I think I will. So from that point on, I had it.
Warehouse, we call this one on this side of the wall. We've got our faster movers, slower type stuff. You'll see, here's a bunch of just bolts, Colony Hardware in there. So this is a smaller type stuff. You could almost say a lot more domestic stuff in one, because when we do bring in import, we might bring in 200 gas tanks. I don't need 200 gas tanks on the shelf. I only need 25, 30 of them. So then we park them down in our warehouse 3. But this is the heaviest action. Right here is where the orders print out on the printer. They grab the order, grab a cart, grab some tubs, run through the warehouse, fill it up. It prints out by bin location. The picking ticket comes out over here. He runs around through it, and then he ends up landing over here at shipping. They'll drop it on the line here, and it'll go to the next stage to get then packed. Then it jumps on to the next roller. We'll invoice it out, last step, then run it through the tape machine, and then zip. A tractor trailer UPS empty drops off, and they grabs the full, and then we just roll the boxes right on in. And so this is one, and then after this is two, what we call warehouse 2.
I don't want to mention any club names because, you just don't. But there were several here, I knew the guys. I wasn't in a club, but I knew them all because I sold parts. And if you didn't know the clubbers, you didn't sell parts, right? I went to all the parties, that they had, and it was a fun time, Choppers were choppers, man. I mean, I've had several of them. I had a panhead. That was my first Harley that I chopped. It was a 58 bagger, and I bought it and immediately stripped everything off of it, put an AEE rake triple tree on it, 12 over fork tubes, 21-inch front wheel, Sportster gas tank, all the normal stuff. And, I was just crazy about motorcycles. I loved them. I couldn't get enough of them. And most of my buddies were the same way. We all rode together and built choppers, and it was fun. It was a great time. 2008 is when we got into this building. 2005 is when I left Midwest. And then I kind of floundered around for a couple of years. Didn't flounder around. I was going to do mail order retail, right? And attempted it, and it may have worked out, but then I kept pursuing this because I kind of knew that, that Sandy didn't really want to run this thing. And I think she was just holding out because she just didn't want to let go of it, right? And so when she said, yeah, she was ready to sell it, I bought it, leveraged the bank, blah, 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 I didn't have that money to just go out there and spend, but, you can always tell the bank what you know and what you think you can do, and you look at the books, and away you go.
Yeah.
In debt.
Big leap of faith.
Yeah, right. But I knew it. I knew the business. Hell, I'd done it for 38 years.
Yeah.
I went from being a stock boy at E&M Motorcycles to actually the vice president of Midwest Motorcycles. Towards the end, there was like 5 of us, but it didn't matter. I was the first one, right? As you likely know, Midwest is no longer in existence. They didn't go out of business. They just quit, right? probably I'd do the same thing if I would have got the money I think they got for the building that they had, right?
Yeah.
But hey, I'm not crying, I can tell you that. It was our competitor here in the Midwest. So, I mean, you know, I made many, many friends there, had a lot of friends that worked there over the years, and still know some that I talk to now and again. And even the old owner, who the original owner has passed away, but his son, who eventually took it over, I know him quite well, and, you know, we'll talk to each other. We're civil, you know, just no animosity there. We were just competitors at one time, and that's it, right? The industry's great. I love it. All the people that are in it, all the manufacturers that I've known over the years, you know, Cycle Shack, Buzz, Dyer, you know, BDL, all those guys. Alan Alvarez, he was another guy that still out there hawking motorcycle parts.
So this is what we call two. Again, like, you know, if we get in 200 gas tanks or something, I don't need 200 up here. You know, we'll just bring up a handful up here. So the picker isn't running around the whole doggone building while he's trying to get this product pulled over here. So two, though, we still have a little bit bulkier items. Here's your fork tubes. You know, you'll see handlebar control kits, seats. You know, they take up a lot of room. We got a handful of wheels here, handlebars, drag pipes, that type stuff. And then we have receiving over here. Everything comes in the door over here, whether it comes by truck, UPS. I'm going to say 95% of the product comes in the door UPS. And, you know, from all our domestic vendors and that. So it comes in the door here, gets processed. We label it here. Perhaps we have to repackage it. No telling.
We as a group kind of decide what we're going to pursue. Of course, you got all the manufacturers and the vendors calling you and saying, look what we got, you know, and we kind of discuss that, decide if we think we want to take it on or not. And then we're a motorcyclist. Sean rides, Ed rides, I ride. Don did. Don's a little bit older now, so he quit. But I got a 25 Softail that I got at home in my garage. I got a part. You know, I bought it, put about 150 miles on it, started taking it apart. I mean, not motor, not transmission, but, you know, I got the gas tank off of it. I got this off of it, you know, and I'm looking at it going, oh, what can we do? You know, where can we go, you know, to improve this or make it better or make it cooler, right? And that's kind of what we do. You know, I got a 24 Fat Boy that I did the same thing that's sitting out there in the showroom. I buy a bike about every year, keep it, sometimes drive it if I really, really like it. Sometimes I don't if I don't like it. And, you know, not to badmouth Harley, but I just didn't like this 24 Fat Boy. It wanted to stand up on you on a curve. I mean, you go around a curve like that, and all of a sudden I feel that thing trying to stand up on me. You know, I'm going, I don't like this. Bill Davis is a St. Louis guy, and I knew him quite well. He's in that picture out there. As a matter of fact, when I was riding early on, I guess it was I'm trying to think of what year it was. In the mid-'70s, he built a sissy bar for me. He was an excellent welder and machinist, you know. He would build sissy bars and all kinds of stuff, you know, for people that he knew and guys like that. And he built that Softail frame out there, right? You know the story behind that? No? Again, his name was Bill Davis, and he built Softail frames, and you can look at the little brochures out there. That's what he brought at that time, Midwest Motorcycles, and asked that we sell that Softail frame, right? And we did. You know, we had it, and we sold it. It was an aftermarket frame for what he called Softail. There was no Softail at that time. I mean, it was hardtails or, you know, squishy frames, we called them. And about, I don't know, year and a half later, Harley he patented. He was smart enough that he patented that frame. And Harley bought that patent from Bill for $50,000. And again, that was a lot of money, you know, back then. But, you know, in hindsight, Bill could have parlayed that into, well, okay, I'll sell you the patent for 50 grand, but I want $1. $1 for every $1 for every frame that you sell, and he'd be a millionaire. He's dead now, but, you know, it's just one of those things that you just, you look at that frame and you go, wow, that is pretty cool, you know? Well, Bill Davis, St. Louis guy, actually built it. Harley improved on it, no doubt, but he built it and made the soft tail frame. And this is the brochure that he gave us way back when he made it, and I kept it in my office. I still have the brochure. That's a copy that that Randall made when he made this little stand. But that is Bill Davis.
The Sub Shock.
Yeah. Now this was his first attempt at it. He did eventually put it down below.
He did?
Yeah, right. This was his very first attempt. These are the ones that he actually, you know, sold the patents to Harley to. No, that's up on top too. But he did eventually put it down below. I mean, the one that sticks out, of course, is the first one, which was my old panhead. I wish I had that back, right? And then I had a couple of knuckleheads that I wish I had back. But back in those days, it was, you know, they were not a dime a dozen, but they were easily gotten, right? Old panheads, knuckleheads, shovelheads was a piece of cake, you know. Wish I had a few of them back, right? I guess one of my favorite motorcycles, which was a newer one, was that one right there in that piece of glass. That was a Harley deal, you know, where they had a motorcycle, but they had a promotion and they gave you that little piece of glass. That was a Dynaglide, I believe it's what it is. It's, but it was cool. It had the dual headlight. You remember that? Remember that bike?
I do.
The dual headlight bike. And
Yeah, Speeding Eagle Fat Bob.
yeah, and man, that thing had a paint job that was to die for, man. That was cool as hell. I should have kept that bike just for grins, right? That was really a cool
That was
bike.
a early little motorcycle. They were fun.
Yeah, that was a cool bike. I should have kept that one, but I'm kind of crazy in that sense. You know, I don't fall in love with any of them, right? You know, I just kind of get them, tweak them a little bit. Love to put a cam in a bike. Love to put a pipe on it. Love to put a carburetor on it, which you don't do anymore. They're all fuel injected. Hot rod them up a little bit, you know, so that they got some decent horsepower and they run nice and cool and smooth, and then go to the next one next year. One that comes to mind, it's really not necessarily confusing, but sure takes a lot of thinking about, is the VVT Harleys. Variable valve timing in the cams, you know, that Andrews and S&S are putting out for VVTs. I mean, you know, you look at that and you scrutinize it, you know, variable valve timing is actuated by oil, right, in the cam. And, you know, it's car stuff that car guys know like the back of their hand because it's been in cars forever. But us old motorcycle guys are going, variable valve timing, what the hell's that, right? So, I mean, it's stuff like that, you know, that keeps me interested in motorcycles and new stuff. You know, I like to know what that stuff's doing and how it works and why it works and that kind of thing, right?
What's really cool about having Stutko as the owner is he knows his shit, first and foremost, but he's down with the industry. He's all in. He's had more motorcycles than I got pairs of underwear, right? And that's not an exaggeration either. Fucker shows up with a new one every other day. If it ain't that, it's a goddamn vet. But anyway, it's really cool because he's down, you know, so you don't have to sell shit twice to people and stuff, to a bean counter, you know. He knows what's up. He knows the industry. So, you know, it's an easy sell. Hey, John, let's pick up this. Oh, yeah, we need that. Whatever, you know. See, we got to pull these things, you know, they all got serial numbers, right? You got to play a real JJ squared away game with frames and serial numbers. So Brandon, the dude in the warehouse, has this organized so sweetly. So this is going to be the next one that the computer pulls it. This is going to be the next one. He's just going to go bang, bang, bang. Yes, the computer will assign, the picking ticket will show that serial number on the picking ticket. So we got to make sure, because we got to get that MSO and all that stuff mailed to the dealer. We don't send the MSO with the product, because then if it was stolen, it'd be clean.
A large part of our customers are what we call mom and pop shops, small chopper shops, right? That build bikes, service bikes, some all kinds of bikes, you know, some just Harleys, you know. So we got a huge customer base. You know, they might not buy from us on a daily basis, but they buy from us, you know, enough to keep us surviving and doing well, actually. So we like to think that we have a variety of parts, right? I mean, we've got the little tiny screw that you need to go to fit your old oil pump from 1936, right? Or we try to, unless they've obsoleted, you can't get it. You got to make 10,000 of them to do it, you know. But, and then we try to get into the more modern stuff, you know, like cams and high performance stuff for M8 motorcycles. And then we keep the old cams, you know, that Andrews makes for the shovel heads and the pan heads and all that stuff. And yes, I agree that we like to cater to the old chopper shops and, you know, Ed, Sean, all of us been doing this all our life. So when somebody comes up with a question, they pretty well answer it, you know. Might know everything, might not know everything, but we know quite a bit, you know, over the years. You just pick it up. Spool wheels. Those were hot back when I was building my chopper, right? I told you that first one, that pan head with that 12 over front end, blah, blah, blah. Spool wheel on there, right? Really nice one. Got it from AEE, I think. 21 inch, of course, with an Avon tire on it, right? All of a sudden, in the last couple of years, everybody wants spool wheels again. I had to run out and not invent the spool wheel, but I knew the bad points of spool wheels. They had a stupid little bearing in it. If it went out, you couldn't find it anywhere. So I was overseas and I told them I want a spool wheel. Told them what a spool wheel was. Told them, you know, showed them a picture one. I said, but I want a Harley bearing in there. I think it's a 9252 is the bearing number. It could be off, you know, a number or two, but, and I wanted 3/4 and I wanted a seal bearing. So if a guy's riding that spool wheel and the bearing goes south, which it won't because it's, you know, a really good, nice modern bearing, he can go to any Harley dealer and pick that bearing up. You can go anywhere and get that bearing, basically. So that was one of them. I mean, spool wheels, I thought, I never see that again. Lo and behold, there they are. So then we created a spool wheel. Or, you know, I went overseas again and I said, I want to make a spool wheel, but I want to call it the antique spool wheel, right? So I took the old style hub, knocked off all the crap that's on each side of it, you know, that you might hook up a drum brake or a disc brake to, but left that antique looking hub there and made a spool wheel out of it with a 21 inch, 2.15. It's what everybody wants, right? And put that 3/4 inch bearing in there, and that sells well. I have a garage, a detached garage, which my wife actually hates because I'm over there 90% of the time, she says. And I got a lift, you know, I got a lift in there, and I'm all the time over there messing with stuff, you know, and it's just the other day. I won't tell you the project I've got right now because I don't want to give it away. I'll tell you, but not in front of this camera.